What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Loud Spot. I'm your host, Sebastian, right out of Oklahoma City. Lots of changes to the podcast we're going to talk about, but we are also going to interview Mr. Ezekiel or Zeke Hampton. And I got my co-host, Ava Gore, and Zeke is in Skylight Motion Picture. So, you know what? I said we're going to do the short intro. Here it is. I found it. Hold on.
The motherfucking Loud Spot.
All right. It is so good to be back. This was supposed to be the official first podcast for 2022. And Dawn accidentally went live with one of the guys from Saving Abel. So you can check her out with his name is Dave Matthews. And so I don't assume he could have a solo career. Name but you can catch it on Facebook, and that will be on YouTube sometime later this week. And so it's exciting to be back. I haven't seen Ava's beautiful face in over a month. I guess that was the last show we did was our the year-end review, right?
Yeah. It's like December 21st or something.
It was like an hour and something minutes long. It was hella long. I don't like to keep that. Yeah, it was a lot of fun going back and watching some of those. So some of the changes that were made is Dawn is kind of going off and doing the Loud Spot with Dawn on her own and interviewing lots of bands, where I'm going to do more entrepreneurs and people I find interesting. Still music, still mostly music, but I like to expand. And, Sam, our producer, he loves the music and wants to keep that. So she's doing her own thing. I think Sam's going to do some of his shows as well. And my first show is with Skylight Motion Picture, Mr. Zeke. Man, this is the second time that you have been on the podcast, and quite a few changes have been made.
Yeah, man. Thanks. It's good to be here. Really appreciate you having me back. So it's been fun to see the evolution of the early era versus where kind of where you guys are now.
Yeah, dude. I didn't know what I was doing. I still kind of don't know what I'm doing. I just like talking, I guess.
It's DIY. Learn as you go.
That's right. The best way, some people, the best way they do things is that they research it all first, and I just kind of do it, and then I learn as I go. I learn as I go along.
I'm with you there. That's me too.
Do you by chance still have all those instruments right next to you like you did last time?
Yeah, kind of. In fact, I actually got a new one since then. This is one I'm using for like an ambient project, but I got my little kalimba.
Oh, nice.
That is cool.
Oh man, you put it through a bunch of like effects, and you're building worlds.
One thing I always found interesting about you and your music career is you started off kind of doing rock music back in high school with some people, and it's like you. So the people that didn't see the last show that you were on, since our audience has grown, you are pretty much in a sense, right? In a sense, is it right to say a one-man project, but you bring other people in with you?
Yeah, I think it's fair. It started out maybe a bit more collaboratively. One of my good friends and songwriting partner moved down to Southern California. So I, for me, I've always kind of been the one who's been more of the I guess the main songwriter. So I wanted to kind of keep the project going, and I want to build it back to a band eventually. I honestly think I'm probably at my best when it's more collaborative. But I'm not going to let it stop me from keep going from what I know I have in my head, and I feel like I need to get out. So
it's awesome.
And Ava can attest to this. It's so hard to find, especially the older you get, people that are dedicated, 100% dedicated to doing music, and I've tried to start some side projects, and it's almost impossible to find people that are 100% wanting to. They say they want to do it, but then it's hard. And Ava's in a band called Weird Wolves, and it's just her and really one other guy.
I'm a fan.
Oh,
awesome. Good.
Thank
okay,
you.
have you heard her music?
Every time there's like a music video, I'm always checking it out. I follow you guys on Instagram, so
awesome. That makes me feel great. But yeah, I can kind of relate to that, what Sebastian was saying. Like, we've tried to find another bassist to play with us, but it's hard to find time for all three of us to get together and practice, or they're busy, or it's hard. So then we just decided that we're gonna take turns playing the bass because finding people is really hard.
Yeah.
Now, when you go real quick, Abe, when you go live, do you switch off instruments from guitar to bass?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We switch a lot actually. I haven't been playing the bass for very long, so he plays like the more advanced stuff. But yeah, we switch a lot.
And Zeke, with your music, do you write all the music yourself?
Yeah.
And then you find do you have different singers kind of come in, or like with this song that we're gonna play tonight, you have a lady that's on there. Is she kind of your main singer right now, or is it still?
She just guest sings on this song. But I actually first met her probably over a decade ago. We played a show together out in the Sacramento area, and she does just. She's a beautiful writer and plays guitar and did a lot of like really good folk music. And I remember playing that show and, just kind of kept in touch. But when I knew I wanted to do this cover, her vocals popped in my head. I'm like, I have a feeling that she'd be really good. So I reached out honestly and didn't think that she would really even be interested, but she was on board and then was on board for the video. So
wow.
Yeah, I definitely would love to do some future collaborations with her too. She's just really talented.
Going back to you writing the music, do you master it yourself, or do you have someone that masters it for you? And if so, does it ever like change it a little bit, or?
So I don't do the mixing or the mastering. That's part of why I like the idea of having a band, is because not only, having just the actual creative collaboration, but having the financial contribution.
Right.
Because I don't do it myself. And, it's expensive. It's expensive if you want to do things the right way. If you want to work with people who work at the top level, you got to pay the big bucks. So I certainly think of this like not only as like an emotional commitment, but certainly it's a financial one.
For sure.
We submitted one of our songs that I wrote to like some big time producer, and he pretty much told us to fuck off. He was like, no way I'm doing this. I'm not gonna say who it is, but he was like, nope, this is trash. I was like, damn it.
Man, I'm sorry.
That's okay. We're doing a fun side. We're doing a kind of a fun side project.
You wouldn't be sorry if you heard it.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
I'm just giving you shit.
It's not bad. So you pretty much mix and master everything yourself, huh?
No, I don't. No. I write all the parts. I record it, and then there's one or two occasions on the album where if it is something that's a little bit more advanced, because I do I play like rhythm guitar, but like if I'm gonna have something more advanced, I will have a friend or hire a session person to. But I know how to write the part on. If I can't play it, then I can at least play it on piano, and I can send it out and like melody, rhythm. Just copy this.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, and so you've been doing this by yourself. Well, you did have a band though. For when you first started Skylight Motion Picture, it was a band, correct?
It was, yeah.
And then what made you decide to go solo and start your own thing? Everyone just quit.
Yeah, I think there was. There was
for you, man.
No. I mean, I still have very good relationships with everybody that's been a part of this, and they're people that I call friends that I love, and I still keep in touch with on a regular basis. But I think at some point, it started out to where it's like, some people like to play music for the love of playing music. They love to jam. That's kind of sort of like their fun thing. And I know for me, I no disrespect to anybody who feels this way, but I don't need other people if I want to just play music and write stuff for fun. Like I want to play because I have goals in mind. Like I want to, the ultimate goal has never changed since I was a kid. Like I would love to be able to spend all my time writing and recording, because for me, I can't keep up with the ideas. It's why it takes like, a couple of years to get out a project. I always have at least 2-3 projects going on. And I want people who want to play because they have a goal in mind that is ambitious,
Right.
So I think with that, and then At this place in life where I'm at, I'm in my late 30s. There's a lot of people that they got other commitments in life, and I'm, probably kind of fortunate in the sense of like I don't have a lot of other commitments pulling me away from it. And if anything, it's like I want to spend all my free time just in this, because it's something I think about every day. And I know it can be kind of taxing on the people around me who are probably just sick of like, that's all I have. That's really interesting to talk about, but yeah. So it's like the way I look at it too is like, if I always love playing with people and I get inspired by people, but if it comes to like making this a project where I open anybody who is willing to invest in it, not just emotionally or creatively, financially, but also like putting in the work ethic. And I know about the work ethic component, and it's it doesn't, to me, like I'm aware of what my limitations are talent wise, and so I know I have to make up for it. Whatever I lack there, I have to work for it.
Yeah, and Ava, one thing you don't know, maybe you picked up on this. I've actually known Zeke since high school. So we went to high school together. The town we grew up in is a town called Vacaville. Lots of musicians during a certain time frame came from Vacaville. Papa Roach is from there, and a bunch of bands played through there. We used to go to concerts back in the day, and he actually graduated with my sister from the high school that we went to. Dude, is it hard to stay inspired writing music for 20 years or so, or longer than 20 years now, I guess? Is it hard to stay inspired? And when you have an idea that pops in your head, do you immediately go to your keyboard, or like, what's your first thought? Your first thought can't be lyrics, because you don't sing in any of your songs, right?
But I sing backgammon harmonies in most songs. Yeah.
Okay,
but I'm not a lead guy.
But what's like your first go-to instrument when an idea pops in your head and you're like, oh, I got it. This is gonna be great. Is it the keyboard? Is that like your main thing?
Honestly, it's the vocals.
Really?
It's the vocals.
Really?
Because I get
vocals. Yeah, apparently so.
It's because you know what it is. It's like I first of all, I never run out of ideas. If anything, I can't keep up. I can't keep up with how many ideas. So depending on how where I'm at, like if something pops in my head, if I'm close to my keyboard and my computer, I will just real quickly, just so I don't lose it, I will quickly write it down. Just have like a maybe a little beat and a little keyboard. And I'll write just a little melody. And then sometimes it happens spur of the moment. If I have like a good block of time to where I can kind of expand on an idea, I will write it and I will stay up till 6 a.m, however late it takes to get it done.
You ever get tired and be like, you know what? I'm just done writing music. Like, I don't feel like it today. Or is it constant, just like, I'm going with this?
It is constant, because I know even if I get fatigued, which honestly with the Skylight Motion Picture Project, that probably takes the most out of me financially, emotionally, because it's you spend so much time on these songs. By the time they get released, you kind of feel spent. You're kind of like, I'm done with it. I don't want to listen to it. I'm already spent so much time listening to it as I was kind of shaping it and sculpting it.
Right.
But if I get fatigued with one, I got another project. I got my ambient project or something that I feel inspired in. So it's always kind of juggling in that sense, but it's always there.
Yeah, your ambient project, you got some songs that are like, 10 minutes long and shit like that?
Yeah, even longer. Yeah, I'd say the average.
That's what that music does, though,
Well, and it's inspired by many different genres, but one of them, I don't know if you ever remember "Godspeed You Black Emperor," but
you sent it to me a year ago.
Yeah, I probably did. But they would blend in rock instruments with classical instruments, and they would do sometimes these 30-minute songs, and it's made up of all these like different mini movements that seamlessly transition into different parts. So there is some classical structure, but with a lot of rock instruments. I don't use as many. I mean, I will play guitar, but not as many rock instruments. It's a little more, I would say, like droney, ambient, ethereal kind of stuff.
What made you switch? Go ahead, Ava.
No, you go ahead, because my question, I think, is like kind of more like for.
Okay. What got you going? Because back in high school, you did mostly rock music. Is ambient music, and I guess EDM was kind of coming up, but they called it trance back when we were in high school, right? I don't know if EDM was a thing yet or not. I didn't really listen to it, but was that something you were always into that inspired you, or were you like mostly kind of a rock dude and then kind of switched to more, almost, I guess, more of a poppy kind of sound with like what we're gonna play?
You know, maybe. I think it started. I think it started with the groups that I really loved, the music that I really loved. I was always fascinated who inspired this artist, and then I would discover them, and I'd hear like read in magazines or interviews. Well, who inspired this artist? And then it would just keep going further and further back in history, which is like that's where I discovered like so much of this stuff is rooted in classical music. And I was in high school. I was super into trance and techno. All that stuff, but I was also into rock and hip hop, and eventually, and because I listen to music almost nonstop, like I have to have music to fall asleep. So back in high school, I was listening to like trance music, but then I'd listen to Moby, and then I would start listening to a lot of post rock music. So bands like Mogwai, Explosions in the Sky, and then I would it's instrumental, but the music felt so much more emotionally compelling to me because I discovered that. Lyrics and vocals can sometimes dictate the meaning of the song. And I was finding that with a lot of this instrumental music, I was kind of, it did something different to me, and it was totally, something that it was a personal interpretation. Yeah. And then eventually it was kept getting into more ambient, like, okay, now we're taking out the drums. Now we're taking out sort of this, the push pull dynamics with, sometimes when you get those big swells in post rock, and now we're doing minimalism, and we're taking certain instruments and we're maybe throwing them through a lot of different effects. And now you're going to get this real hazy, dreamy kind of sound. And that's probably like 85% of the music I listen to today is that kind of music. And it just, it gives me peace of mind because I do kind of have like, my mind is always running, even if my body is tired. My mind is always running, and that is the kind of music that it takes for me to kind of just shut down all that noise.
Yeah, music touches people in different ways, different genres of music. Really, people relate to it very, very differently. Yeah. I do want to go ahead, Ava.
I was gonna say it always weirds me out when I meet someone who says that they like don't really listen to music. Like it's just so foreign to me. Like
yeah, likewise.
But anyway, going back to what I was going to ask, if you can talk a little bit more about what you're working on recently and if there's anything that you're like super excited about.
Yeah. Well, I have with Skylight Motion Picture, I have a new album coming out on 2/22/22. All twos to win your case. So February 22nd, that's when it's a 13-track album. There's an intro and an outro. But it's very different from previous releases, which is kind of exciting because I never want to make the same album twice. I feel like there's so much to explore. Why repeat something you've already done where there's other equally exciting, kinds of music to make? And I would say like with the previous releases, it kind of started out maybe a bit more electronic sounding. The first, like the EP, was very electronic sounding, and then the debut album, which was kind of a messy 3-year project to create. That one, you could tell, probably was influenced by a lot of like 80s bands that were very atmospheric, and kind of big into that whole new wave scene. But the newest one that's about to come out, I'm really excited. It's much less 80s sounding. I would still probably say it's more of like a synth pop kind of genre, but less of like the big synths and more piano and woodwinds and strings and glockenspiels. And it sounds it's meant to sound kind of like Sebastian, it's actually, you might appreciate this. It's influenced by a lot of the music that really inspired me in like my late high school, early college years. So there's a lot of bands from like the emo scene.
Nice.
Awesome.
So a lot of like Jimmy Eat World, the Postal Service.
Dude, the Postal Service is so... Dude, they are so awesome, man. I love their style, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, their album is probably, I consider it, maybe if I had to pick one album that was the most influential, it would be their one and only Give Up album. Cool. But then I still love bands like, I don't think I can ever make a pop album where the Cocteau Twins are not an influence. I love a lot of that ethereal dream pop kind of sound. So, in my head, I'm like, okay, at some point I want to make much more of a dedicated dream pop album. And then I want to make like a funk album. I want to have one where it's just like super funky, and soulful and catchy. But it can still have a connective tissue to previous works, if that makes sense.
Connective tissue.
Awesome.
That's great. Does this thing look stupid? It looks stupid.
It's like you have a neck brace on.
It's my face mask. In case you guys give me COVID on here. All right, let's play your cover song. And what's the name of this song again? And who's the lady that does it with you?
Chelsea Shea Hughes, originally out of Sacramento.
Okay.
And it's I Love You Always Forever, Donna Lewis song, one of the most successful songs of all time. And for me, like thinking in the 90s, it's very much of that whole soft rock, less talk generation where, when you're listening to the radio and they were just playing these songs that this was a song that I probably wasn't bragging to my friends or anything that I super loved, but I loved it so much. I was obsessed with this song.
I like it. And what I like about your videos is you always bring some sort of comedic kind of aspect, whether you're dancing or looking goofy in the background, but it makes it entertaining to watch. And you do a great job. And she has a great voice. The music is fantastic. So we're going to play it right now. Here we go.
I love you. Feels like I'm standing in a timeless dream of light mist with pale amber rose. It feels like I'm lost in a deep cloud of heavenly scent, touching, discovering you. Those days of warm rains come rushing back to me. Miles of windless summer nights, secret moments shared within the heat of the afternoon. Out of the stillness, the soft-spoken words say it again. I love you always, forever, near or far, closer together, everywhere. I will be with you, everything I will do for you. I love you always, forever, near or far, closer together, everywhere. I will be with you, everything I will do for you. You got the most unbelievable blue eyes I've ever seen. You've got me almost melting away as we lay there under a blue sky with pure white stars. Exotic sweetness, a magical time. I love you always, forever, near or far, closer together, everywhere. I will be with you, everything I will do for you. I love you always, forever, near or far, closer together, everywhere. I will be with you, everything I will do for you. Say you love and love me forever, never stop, never, whatever, near and far and always and everywhere and every. Say you love and love me forever, never stop, never, whatever, near and far and always and everywhere and every. Say you love and love me forever, never stop, never, whatever, near and far and always and everywhere.
There you go. You know what? You look like you'd be so fun to make a music video with, man.
Yeah.
Well,
Like, look like you're having fun.
I honestly have to because it's DIY. We filmed it in my living room. I have a green screen. I got a buddy over to kind of help supervise it. But it was like I don't know how to do. It can't be serious. Like I don't feel like I can be personally taken seriously, which is why I'm always going to embrace like the goofy, silly.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot more fun.
Thank you.
And did you just decide to bring certain instruments into that video? I guess while you were shooting that. I saw like you were holding some sort of like either a bass or a guitar or something.
It's called an Artiphon One, Instrument One.
There you go.
So it was a Kickstarter project. By a company.
How do you find these instruments, dude? Like, how the hell do you just go into Guitar Center and be like, "What's the strangest shit you got in here?" And that's what I want to buy and learn how to play it.
I don't remember how I probably, these days with like social media and people they know what you like, and so I think I probably got some Kickstarter advertisement, in my social media feed, and I saw what it could do. And I can't even fully use all the functions. Like it's a MIDI instrument. But one of the things that's you can use it as a guitar, you can use it as a bass, you can use it as a keyboard, you can use it as a violin to where you have a Bluetooth on your phone using like the bow. I don't play violin, so I can't really use it for that aspect. But yeah,
one thing that's cool is about what you do is you don't have to really master an instrument to make sounds with it and be able to incorporate it into a song, right? Like you can just learn a couple things and then implement them into the music and loop them, right?
Yes, technically you can. And that's the thing, like that nowadays with technology, you can make amazing music and not even know how to play an instrument. If you know how to work certain software, you can work like a sequencer type of pad. And if you have an ear for music, because you can have an ear for music and not necessarily know how to play an instrument. If you have an ear for music, you can understand sequence in terms of like this pad makes this sound, this pad makes this sound,
right?
And you can detect the patterns. You can totally make music that way.
That's awesome, man. I didn't want to apologize earlier, and I could tell Ava's face is like, "You're an idiot, dude." When I asked if you master the songs, and then I asked it again, and she was like, "You just asked that question. Yeah. You just asked that question." Ava's good. I can tell when Ava makes a certain face that I asked that question twice.
Well, actually, I asked the question, and then I just didn't listen to his answer.
That's why I wasn't listening, because you asked it. When you asked the question, I'm like, whatever. No, I don't do that. I don't do that. Sometimes.
The Jeremy Edwardson is the guy who mixed and mastered it, and he has one of the most amazing studios I've ever seen in person. That's awesome. It's based out in Reading. And he's done, his resume speaks for itself. Switchfoot is up. He's kind of done a lot of like famous bands and
cool.
A lot of some of my like early musical heroes. And so very happy with his work.
Does it ever, like, when you get the mastered version back, is it ever changed a little bit and from what you had before, or is it just like?
That's a great question. And I sometimes find that it is a little bit, but I don't think it's because of the person who's doing the mixing and mastering. Like I always, anytime there's a project that's done, I always ask for feedback because I'm still learning as I go. And I want to know from my end, someone who's working with someone who does that professionally for a living, what can I do on my end that can make your job easier? Because, I know one of the things that I haven't had a tendency to do is maybe put too many spices in the dish, because I want all these different sounds and I hear all these different sounds, but then, from a frequency perspective, it doesn't all work. And so in the times where I've insisted to try to get things to work, I ultimately get a compromised sound where some parts sound overly compressed when in my head they're a lot bigger. And if I try to pull at that, then it's just everything's going to sound kind of muddy. So it's been helpful on my end to know that like I just got to like not overdo it.
What do you record with? What software do you use?
Ableton Live.
Okay. And Ableton is more for like synth pop or like EDM type. That's what I think Skrillex uses Ableton, right? Maybe you don't know, but.
Well, the thing with Ableton, you can do any genre of music, anything with it. But the
right.
I think what draws a lot of folks to Ableton is sort of the live capabilities you have with it. There's a lot of, if you were to use it live, you can have a lot of triggers. So components where especially if you have a lot of different sounds going, and not necessarily a body to go behind all those different sounds, you can just kind of sort of push things, and there's some automation that happens. So it's very live friendly compared to other software programs.
And one of my last questions I'm going to ask you, because we're already over the 30-minute mark, I do want to ask you, not musician wise, but what would you say, is there something that would inspire you that you find more common when writing music? Like for me, it's I'll hear a band that has some really cool lyric, and it doesn't matter who the band is, really. It's not like a specific band that inspires something like lyrics to write. It's just maybe something they said, or something that I maybe see while I'm out driving around in the countryside of Oklahoma. Is there something specific that you catch yourself being in that kind of draws that feeling to you to start writing?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would say even musically and lyrically, they kind of work separately for me, but because I know I don't need to necessarily do lyrics to feel like I'm being expressive or having, a cathartic outlet. But I will hear certain music that inspires, like I know just even when hearing interviews with the band, when I hear what inspires them, I'm like, oh my gosh, those same exact things inspire me. Whether it's like nostalgia is a big one. Mm-hmm. So anything that makes me feel the melancholy of nostalgia, because it's such a beautiful thing. It's something that it's kind of sad because you can never truly grasp a moment and hold on to it forever. And so like I don't think I'm a sad person in general, but I'm inspired by sad things. I'm inspired by melancholy, because I feel like that being able to make that kind of music kind of helps you work through that. So and then lyrically, even if songs like sound kind of like nice and happy, most songs, like I'm not interested in writing love songs. I don't feel inspired by feeling happy. I don't feel inspired by like feeling love. Like I feel inspired by heartache, and I feel inspired by grief and despair. That's what I mostly write about. And it doesn't mean that I'm just such a sad, tortured person, but those are the things that are cathartic to work through when I have that outlet to channel it.
I think out of everyone I've interviewed, you have one of the best vocabularies.
Yeah, I would agree.
People that we've interviewed, right? Right? You have such good, great, well-spoken answers to everything we've asked.
Well, you guys ask good questions, so
the tip of the cap questions. Ava asks better questions. I'm just here because I started this damn thing. But do you have any last questions before we get off?
What's your favorite part about creating music in general?
It gives me, even though maybe 5 people might actually like it, it gives me inspiration. I, not to get over to a super melodramatic place, but I feel like people, like when you want to get up and you want to feel inspired by something, some people it's their family, and I don't have kids, so I'm sure if I did, like that would be something that would inspire me. But for me, when I get up every day, what I look forward to the most is being able to work. I love to work, and I love to see a vision realized. And when you have a project, you spent 3-4 years on every day, and you can finally see it come to the light of the day, and almost the response doesn't even necessarily matter, in the sense of like, look what I've been able to accomplish. And this is something that, especially in the age of the internet and the airwaves, when I'm gone, this is my legacy. Like this is what I have, and I'm proud of it, because I think it does speak to whatever I'm writing in that moment in time.
Well, February 2nd, 2022, 2/2/22. You're
almost no. 2/22/22.
Oh yeah, 2/22/22. See, I don't listen.
That would have been in the past.
I was close. I failed the test, but I think I got a C for getting the month and the year right. Just not the day. So
you got the number right too.
2/22/22. You can check out Skylight Motion Pictures. How many songs are going to be on the album?
It's 13 songs. It's called Music from the Film.
Okay. And is the video already released?
The video is released. It's on YouTube. And what's going to happen is once the album comes out, there will be, I actually have like either a music video or a lyric video for every full length song, and it's going to be released on the week
Cool.
every Tuesday. So kind of help keep a little bit of momentum, hopefully going for a couple months.
That's a lot of work you put into this, man.
I'm telling you, man. When I'm not at my day job, I'm in my little studio.
I'm so happy that you're still doing music, dude. That is absolutely fantastic. I want you to stay right there, Ava and Zeke. Stay right there till after the outro song plays. I do want to thank everyone that listens to the Loud Spot. It has been over a month since we actually had an official podcast, but we are back and ready to do this. It's going to be fun. Like I said, I'm going to do a lot more entrepreneurs and interesting people, but still musicians. You can find us on all podcasting platforms. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just type in the Loud Spot. You'll find us. We also have a Patreon page. It's patreon.com. Would that be a / the Loud Spot? And $3 a month, I think, is all we charge. And that really does help us out. Helps us pay for equipment and keeps things interesting. You know, I was looking for these glasses earlier, and they were sitting right freaking here next to my microphone. And I found them. Anyways, that's all we got for the show. What?
On that note.
Yeah, on that note, peace out, rock on, and much love.
This is the Loud Spot outro by Nothing Short of Tragic. Is this all talk with no action? No. Is this my thoughts with distraction? No. Is this what I bought that's in fashion? Or is this the Loud Spot with Sebastian? Yes. Does Nothing Short of Tragic have his back again? Does everything that's good really have to end? Our pin post has to pin show, so to get more episodes, make an order, this is over.
Thanks for watching our video. Don't forget to click the like and share button.
Don't forget to go to our YouTube and subscribe.
If you want to listen to our audio and pick up some cool merch, go to www.theloudspot.net. Peace out, rock on, much love.